Thank you. And joining me now with more is our panel, Democratic strategist David Carlucci, a former New York State senator and the founder of Carlucci Consulting, and Republican strategist Corinne Clark, the co-founder of FreePressVeil.com. Welcome back, guys. Always good to see you. Corinne, I'll start with you. The White House is going to announce those tougher sanctions against Iran tomorrow. They're calling it Economic D-Day. It's a great slogan. There's no doubt about that. But the war is taking a toll on Americans economically. When does the administration have to start showing results instead of promising that next big pressure campaign on Iran?
Yeah, the sooner the better, honestly. I do think it's taking too much of a toll, and heading into such competitive midterms, we could really use a win here. What I think is great is that Scott Bessent is going to take lead here, and he has become one of the most iconic and powerful Treasury secretaries in modern history. I think he will come up with some innovative plans for sanctions and further economic punishment of Iran. But President Trump also said this weekend, which I think is very important, is that these economic offers are really the nice way to handle it. So Iran can cave to the pressure of our economic sanctions, or they can cave to the pressure of military force. And I certainly hope that military force we don't have to do any more of that. I'm hoping that these sanctions are what it takes to end this conflict, but I guess only Iran will be able to make that decision.
David, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says this economic pressure could mean less large-scale military action like Corinne just alluded to. If sanctions really can bring Iran to the table, shouldn't Democrats be supporting that approach instead of criticizing it?
Yeah, sure. Look, sanctions are a tool. They're not the strategy. You know, what's the end game here? If economic sanctions would have worked, that should have been done a long time ago. But in fact, it has been done. It's been going on for 50 years. So again, I think this is just another excuse from the president. At least tell us something, but they're not telling us the whole picture. What is the strategy here? Because economic sanctions have been on the table for a long time, and they've been implemented. So it's very confusing to me. This just looks, again, like another example of why this could be a forever war, and that people are very concerned, like myself, that we're not seeing a real strategy. We're just seeing more of the same, economic sanctions, then military action, economic sanctions. And what do we expect? Iran will most likely retaliate. And what does that mean for us? They've already demonstrated that they have immense capability to close the Strait of Hormuz, even with the pressure that the Trump administration has put on them with military action, with economic sanctions. So it's just very confusing to myself, to the American public, and to our allies.
And I'm sure we'll get more details about Economic D-Day tomorrow. Let's bring it back stateside to South Carolina. Corinne, Trump has put his weight behind Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene Graham, of course, in the South Carolina Senate primaries. If she loses on Tuesday, how much does that undercut the president's power as a Republican kingmaker?
I don't really think it will undercut it at all, but I assume that it will dominate headlines for a few weeks, as it often does whenever one of the 50 people that Trump endorses doesn't win a primary. We do see that Trump voters are actually pretty independent. Oftentimes, they do vote for the person that Trump endorses, but I think there have been those random times that they didn't, and that is because they will always vote for someone that Trump endorses if they really like that person. But Trump's not everything. These voters are pretty independent. I'm not sure how South Carolina will go. This is definitely a weird primary. Darlene's participation is a little unprecedented. If they like her, they'll vote for her. If they don't vote for her, it will really not be because they don't like Trump. It'll probably just be about Darlene.
David, we've seen a mixed record for Trump endorsements the primary season. But to Corinne's case, I mean, I think 90% of his endorsements have won in office or have won a seat. From a Democrat's perspective, is that really a sign of weakness for our president, or would Democrats be making a mistake to read too much into it, into a few primary losses?
Yeah, look, I think it's hard to read into it either way. What I will say is that it's easy to pack your stats. There's plenty of races that Donald Trump did not endorse in, that it was expected that he would, and ultimately he waits till the last minute when it looks like it's inevitable that this person's going to win. But back to South Carolina, look, I think it's often a dual dilemma for these candidates that get the endorsement. Yes, in most primaries, it makes a lot of sense. You want Donald Trump's endorsement in a Republican primary. However, in this case, with Senator Graham's replacement, it's almost like an albatross that it's highlighting this candidate that is just not ready for prime time. And it's amplifying all of those problems that might otherwise go unnoticed. So I think this is a problem in South Carolina for Lindsey Graham's sister, and that the opponent, the congresswoman, might be able to pull it off because of this microscope that she's under. And she's just not filling that legacy, that national security, foreign relations isn't your issue. Well, you were supposed to step into your brother's, footsteps, and that's obviously not happening.
David Carlucci, Corinne Clark, always great to see you guys. Thank you again for your time tonight. We'll see you soon.
Yes, great to be with you.
I'm sure a lot